Welcome to Inspire TV. I'm your host, Dennis Postema, and today I have a very special guest, a friend of mine, Jessi Lawless. Jessi, welcome to the show.
Hey, Pumpkin. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit. Let's just dive right in. First of all, I want to know a little bit about your backstory and how you've got a lot of crazy, fun things going on that are exciting.
There's a lot
it's
of
fun
stuff
every time we
happening.
talk. How do we get here?
Wow, what a wild ride. Blood, sweat, and tears, for sure.
I love that.
I grew up in Alabama in a very, very small town. Most people have a bigger graduating class than the town population. I think it's like under 400.
Oh.
Yeah, it's tiny. Everybody really does know everybody, to the point where, like, my mom told me when I was a kid, come talk to me before you decide that any of the little boys are your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because they might be your cousin. So,
Yeah.
Very small town. A lot happened
Yeah.
in that small town.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
This shit is not for me.
Yep.
I'm not supposed to be here. I ran away a lot as a kid, and I eventually made my way to Florida when I was 18 years old. I thought that it was about where I was at
Right.
geographically, because I did a lot of drugs.
Okay.
You know, I was just trying to escape that little town in whatever way that I could. And I left and went to Florida, and it was in Florida that I realized it's not always where you're at, but it's where you're at.
I love that.
You know, and I was still making mistakes and doing dumb shit in Florida. I was doing better. I quit smoking crystal meth, so that was a big step in the right direction.
That's moving forward. I love it.
Right, yeah. So, we were taking steps forward, but the military, I joined when I was 21.
Excellent.
That taught me a lot of discipline. I still wasn't where I needed to be. And my frontal lobe wasn't developed yet, so I'm going to give myself a tiny little excuse right there.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
excuses are crutches for fools, so you won't see me giving myself excuses. You know, you won't see me using excuses a lot of the time, but when your brain's not developed yet, you don't always make good decisions.
Right. And we're going to see that on a T-shirt soon, right?
Yeah, we're going to put that on. Yeah, we got to
right.
put that on some merch.
Yeah.
So the military was kind of short-lived, 364 days to be exact. I got injured.
Okay.
I didn't get to deploy. I was mad about it, and I acted like a child because I was a child.
Okay.
And I showed up to formation drunk. And they were like, hey, if you do this again, we're going to take you down to the MP station.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. So, like, not long after that, I did it again. And they did, in fact, take me down to the MP station. I was court-martialed, and I did 30 days in jail in Fort Hood, Texas. That was a lesson. I learned a lot. When you have 30 days to think about your actions, you start trying to find the positivity in your mistakes, and the only way to do that is to learn from them. So that was helpful.
I love talking to you because, you know, in the personal development space that I'm in all the time, people are always talking about accountability and everything. I've never seen somebody so, I don't even know the word, just you're so good at portraying exactly what accountability means and taking accountability for yourself and doing it. And I tell people to take an inventory of yourself. And when you talked to me about that, when we talked yesterday, I was just so, it was just so eye-opening and just so exciting because if people would just follow that, the way that you say it and the way that you do it, I just, you know, and then, you know, it's really exciting to me.
Have you seen The Never-Ending Story?
Yes.
All right, it's one of my favorite movies. I love it. I'm actually really good friends with Noah Hathaway. Shout out to my homeboy. They're remaking The Never-Ending Story, so, you know.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'd love to introduce you to him. He'd be great for your show as well.
Okay, great.
So there's a scene in The Never-Ending Story, and when I was a child, I thought it was the most boring, the stupidest scene of the whole movie. I was like, this is dumb. Like, why did they even write this in here?
Right.
My little child mind. It's the scene where Atreyu has to look in the mirror. And he lost his horse in the swamps of sadness. He had to jump through the big titty sphinxes with the laser eyes.
Right.
He's done all this crazy shit to get where he's at. And they're like, oh, this is Atreyu's biggest test. This is stupid.
Yeah.
Until I watched it as an adult. And when you got to look in the mirror, that's the only way you can change. If you can't see your bullshit, You can't fix it.
Yeah.
And that scene to me now is like so important. You know, I reflect back on that scene so many times a day. Just like, look in the fucking mirror. Accept what you see. And if you don't like it, change it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Don't say shit you don't want to be repeated, and don't do shit you don't want to be seen.
That's perfect. And do you think that scene stuck out from you as a child and not understanding it? And then do you think, like, indirectly that's actually 100% proof of your growth?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Possibly. There's so many. That movie was so impactful to me as a child. The Swamps of Sadness. You know, that's another one. What are you going to do? Are you going to just sit there and marinate in your sadness and think about why you're sad and how sad that it is that you're sad and how sad that is that you're sad about this and you're sad about that? Because that's what happens. That's what the Swamps of Sadness are. You know, Atreyu's just trying to get through it. He's like, man, keep your fucking eyes forward and keep it moving. And the horse is like, look how bad this is.
Yeah.
Don't look down.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
So I tell you, don't look down. Yeah. Don't look down at the negative possibilities. That's why I'm a dreamer. Right. I got a lot of ideas. I want to do things, you know, and that's why when I have these ideas and I'm like, oh man, I want to do this thing, I don't need people coming in and saying, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? We'll worry about that when we get to it.
Yep.
I've also learned that that's not all, you know, it's about balance.
Right.
It's about balance. You can't be all just like, we'll cross that bridge when you get to it. You got to do a little bit of planning. I've learned that the hard way too. You know, but
I think that you're doing a good job at, you know, at speaking with you about, you know, your team, and you're really venturing into a lot of entrepreneurship, as well as, I mean, you just won a nice fight. Let's talk about that for a minute, and then talk about how you're training now. And
I was not planning on being a fighter. You know, I thought about it. I dabbled in it. I've trained off and on. I kickboxed when I was a kid. I was in the Army. There was a lot of focus on hand-to-hand combat. I was very interested in that part of it. I'm good at it. You know, I've fought in a lot of bars and parking lots. I do not encourage or condone that type of behavior, but I learned a lot of shit on the streets.
Yeah.
But when I was offered this booking, I was like, I can fight. I need to work on my cardio. But I can fight. So that's what I did. You know, I got to work. I switched my diet up. I quit eating cheeseburgers and bullshit, and I started eating Brussels sprouts and white meat, chicken, and rice. Yeah. You know, it's like, how bad do you want it? Do you want it? People are like, oh, it's hard to do this. It's hard to do that. It's supposed to be hard.
Yep.
It's supposed to hurt. Growth is supposed to hurt. Like, we learned that as children. Literally, physically growing.
Right.
Hurts. That's why they call it growing pains, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to hurt, and if it don't hurt, then you're not growing.
Right. And, you know, you got to choose your hard. It's either hard now for a reward later, or it's being comfortable now for a harder life later, right?
Yeah.
And so
everything I thought of when I was training is, Katie's not doing this. And if she is, I'm going to do more.
Yes.
I want to know. And if you're doing more, I'm going to do more than that.
You got that Black Mamba mentality.
Hey, be better today than you were yesterday, and be better tomorrow than you were today.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for that.
Yeah.
You know, Kobe was the man.
Yeah.
He was like baby Jordan. You know, you can't take the crown from the king. Jordan will always be the king.
I couldn't agree more.
But yeah, Kobe was the man. R.I.P. homie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But the fight was exactly as I expected it to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No surprises at all. It was.
I thought it would be. I did think it would. I thought it would be a little bit easier. I thought that I'd get to play with her a little bit, a little cat and mouse.
Yeah.
But Katie's tough.
Yeah.
Katie's tough as fuck, man. You know, she took some big shots.
Just kept on moving.
I busted her nose. I thought I was gonna drop her just with a body shot, because I know I connected so hard with a right hook straight to the body. Oh man, I connected so hard.
Thought it was over then, huh?
The ref actually leaned over and told me, like, because we were between rounds, he's like, "Hey, you rocked the shit out of her with that body shot."
So he knew, he saw it, huh?
But they want a rematch.
And what do you think about that?
I'm a little torn on it, because I'm training 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm at Split T Boxing Gym. They put out world-class fighters. I'm training with the big dogs. I'm training with O'Day Osborne. Shout out to O'Day. He's got the fight coming up at the Sphere. I believe it's the 14th. That's my boy. He cornered me. He got me ready. He's the one that pushed me and said, "Hey, you got this shit." And he's the one telling me I need to keep going because I got some talent.
Yeah.
So, shout out to O'Day for that. I appreciate that, man.
And you've got a ton of drive too. So tell me about what your training days look like right now, because I know you eat right.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that. So tell me a little bit about your training now.
So I usually get up around. I try to wake up around 6 or 7. Here lately this week, I've been kind of lazy. I've been sleeping until like 8 or 9.
Okay.
I think my body just needed the rest because I've been pushing so hard.
Right.
I was training for Katie. I was doing a really hard run day on Wednesdays, running hills. It looks like going to the park, doing a huge flight of stairs 4 times, and then going straight to 10 burpees, and then up the hill, Willows Park. That's
Gotcha.
where we've been doing our run days. Up the hill, down the hill, 10 burpees. Up the hill, down the hill, 10 burpees. Do that like 4 times. What's next? Shadow boxing, a complete lap around the track. That's just the warm-up.
Wow.
I'm drenched.
Yeah.
Head to toe, just dripping. And then we leave the park and we go to the gym and then we do power day. And power day is based around hitting as hard as you can. It's like maxing
Yeah.
on the bench or whatever, getting your PR.
Yeah. Every single day.
Yeah. Well, that's Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
Every
okay.
other day is class, and I go into the fundamentals class. I take the basic class just because I really want to build on the basics. I want to make sure because, how are you supposed to improve on the higher tier moves if you haven't perfected the basics? And having the opportunity to train with these level 2, classes and with the more experienced boxers is really awesome. But I want to remain humble.
Yeah.
Because if you get too cocky, you get knocked out.
Yeah.
My teeth are too expensive to lose.
I got you. I understand that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's on the talking about the training and the fundamentals. You're really building. I love that because that goes back to really what you're talking about with accountability and whatnot, but building a strong foundation is what you're doing. Because let's say around like a fight does go longer, right? That foundation is going to kick in because you need it. That needs to be automatic, I'm assuming.
Right. I don't want because fighting Katie, it was a little mechanical.
Right.
I was thinking a lot of, all right, slip, body shot, right hook. I don't want to think about it.
Yep.
I want to get to a place where it's just muscle memory and my body just knows what to do.
Second nature, just
I want to be to where I can blindfold myself and swing the ball.
I love it.
That's where I want to be, and that takes a lot of dedication, and it's kind of crazy. Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, you're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But you kind of got to be to do this shit.
Yeah. You have to have an edge to you. That's for sure. How much are you taking? Are you eating a lot of protein?
I'm eating a shit ton of chicken and steak.
Okay.
So
just trying to make sure that those muscles keep going. I love that.
Bananas. I try to eat at least 1 banana a day for potassium. I'm taking magnesium. I'm trying to supplement. I do Celtic salt.
Okay.
Like before or after training, just depending on how much I'm sweating. I'll just pour a little bit in my hand and kick it back and chase it with a bottle of water. So I'm trying to stay hydrated.
Not easy because we're not from Vegas, so when we're out here, it's different when we're from we're from the other side of the country there.
Yeah, I'm from Florida.
Yeah,
Florida's excuse me, but it's like the vagina of America. It's the wettest place in our country.
Yeah, there you go.
It's moist down there, y'all.
Yeah.
But it's like I moved to a food dehydrator.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm turning into human jerky out here. I've used more lotion in the last week than I did the whole time I lived in Florida.
I love it.
Crazy.
I love it. So what's the big goal with what you're doing with fighting? What's your goal? Perfect world, what would happen?
I want to fight for maybe a year, maybe 2, just depending on how well I'm doing. I want to get some fights under my belt. I want to get a belt. I already have 1 belt. I got the hot boxing belt. I want not that it's not. This was an exhibition type of thing. This was for entertainment purposes. Me and Katie were the most serious fight of the night. All the other dudes, they ran. These gloves are as big as your chest.
Yeah.
They're huge. So these dudes are running in the ring and literally like holding their arms out and doing the fucking windmill. You know, just acting an ass and bouncing around and having fun and stuff. And I went in there ready to fuck her up. And I did. I busted her nose in the first round.
I love it.
So, as far as the rematch goes, like, man, I'm not afraid of it at all, obviously. But the thing is like, I understand Katie's a professional athlete. She's a wrestler. Everything she does is, you know, they talk about it. They discuss it. Hey, we're going to do this at this point. We're going to do that at that point. I'm going in there and I'm just trying to whoop her ass. Yeah. You know, and that's it. And I'm training 6 days a week. And as I was talking about the running, I'm going to do that every day now. Nice. I've started a new routine and I'm upping it because I want my cardio to it hurts so bad. Yeah. I fucking hate it. Yeah. Going to the park in the morning when everybody else is probably laying in bed or eating a fucking Lucky Charms. I'm out at the park, drenched in sweat, running circles around whatever I can run circles around, running up hills, jumping on things, just biting shit, chasing things, just like a shark, you know? Like
trying to just figure out what's going to move the extra muscle in case you need it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing as much as I can. I'm pushing it as hard as I can to the point where I want to throw up. Yeah. And I'm pushing until I can't push anymore because that's the only thing that's going to make me better than the competition.
I like that because so many people say they give their all, but like that sounds like you're really just crushing it.
I'm crawling.
Yeah, I love it.
By the time I'm done, I mean, I get to the point where I literally cannot walk or run up the hill. I'm crawling. I'm using my arms. I'm bear crawling up the hill. So that's when I feel like, all right, I've done enough. And then I do another lap.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're doing that extra. I like that. I think one of the things we really connect on is that view of the exhibition. There's no such thing of that in your mind. Like, so like same thing with me and my younger brother when we play basketball, like pickup games. People are like, oh, aren't you just here for fun? No. I love basketball. I'm here for the game.
Yeah.
One thing you will not say is that I didn't give 110%.
I'm going to take that ball from you.
Yep.
I'm going to put it in your eye.
Yeah.
I'm going to stuff you so hard you're going to have to chase the ball all the way back to the other side of the court.
Yeah.
Like, I'm coming for blood.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every single time.
Every single time.
Yep. There's no such thing as playing that stuff. And I enjoy playing at that level.
Yeah. It's fun. It makes me happy.
Yeah. I remember my older brother and I, we were in Florida. This is years ago. And we had there was a park right there, right? So we're just playing, and it was right. I had just graduated, and we had been hanging out, and we're playing like a full court pickup game, and there's trash talk, and everybody's like, and some of these people, maybe somebody that you don't really want to get in a scrap with, but
Floridians, that's what they're called.
yeah, exactly. And I'm 18, lifting weights all the time, thinking that I'm invincible. Those things that. I've learned all those things the hard way that I am not, I'm not bulletproof. So when people pull a gun or anything like that, those things. And so I'm trying to steal the ball, and we're getting some scruffs, and I steal the ball, and I go to the other end. I don't know what got into me, but I dunked it, right? And this, I know, little guy. Don't worry. That's the only time in any like situation where I actually dunked it in a semi-game type. Otherwise, I'd have to like dribble and afterwards, so I'm thinking, yeah, we're the shit, right? And my brother and I are like, yeah. And all of a sudden, they're calling their boys and everything, and it's a gang. And I'm like, hell, hey, we should probably get out of here.
It's the moment when he knew he had fucked up.
So we blasted out of there, but it goes back to my style of playing. When I'm gonna do it, we're gonna go all in, and
we don't do 99%.
Yeah, I love that. That's really.
I don't do 99%. I don't play boxing. We have a big poster up in the gym, and it says we don't play boxing. Yeah. We don't play boxing. We're here to take your fucking head off, man.
Yeah, that's 100% that's the point of what you're doing. That's it.
100%. So yeah, as far as the rematch goes, Katie, I don't know if you see this, but come for the head. They ain't gonna be. They said that it was close. The judges were saying, oh. The whole crowd said that it was an absolute annihilation.
Right.
But the judges, because she's friends with the Godfather, they're like, oh, it was close. And I guess there was some debating whether or not I was the real winner, you know? And I was like, all right, guess what? There ain't going to be no debate next time because I'm going to go for the knockout. Yeah. She's going night. Night. Bring your blankie.
There you go. I love it.
Ain't gonna be no question.
Ain't
gonna be no question. I'm training 6 days a week with world-class boxers. I'm coming for that ass.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm coming for the head, because if I was going for the ass, I'd be scared, because she got a booty on her, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't afraid of her hands.
So you're gonna aim for that instead. I like that. Yeah. So
for the head.
one of the other cool things that I think is really awesome about you, not only are you badass, but I love that you're a dreamer, you're a visionary. You have some serious entrepreneurship inside of you, and that to me is so cool. Tell me about, where did that develop, and how did you get there? I mean, you're doing it right. You're working on your boxing career and chasing your other dreams so that you have multiple streams of income.
That's
and I think
goal.
that's so smart.
It's weird, because my goal in being successful isn't necessarily like, yeah, I want nice things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to act like I don't want a Lambo, or I don't want a big-ass house with a basketball court inside, I'm not going to act like I don't want that shit, because I do, and I'm going to get it. But I want to be successful enough to help those around me. I want to have access to things that I can use to help people, to guide people, to coach people, to inspire people. That's what I want more than anything.
Yeah.
I want all of the money that comes with it.
Sure.
But I want to have the success I need to say, hey, look, I came from shit.
Yeah.
I was just this little poor kid in Alabama. The house I grew up in had holes in the floor and holes in the roof. We had buckets all over the house so that when it rained, the buckets would catch the rain. I came from nothing. I did lots of drugs. Lots. Yeah. So many. It was bad. Yeah. It was really bad. I drank everything in sight probably until 4-5 years ago. Like, I was a bit, anything that happened, any bad day, I'm going to the bar. Mm-hmm. I need a bottle of whiskey. I'm going to lock myself in my room and drink myself silly. And if I don't make it through, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
I've been there. I've not wanted to wake up.
Yeah.
But look at me now. It's a lot different. And I'm really thankful for all the things that I learned through that adversity that I faced, because that made me tough as fucking nails now. And the shit that I have to deal with on the internet, these trolls are vicious. There's a hate page with like 3,000 people dedicated to hating me. And I just wanted to say thank you for that. Because I'm dynamic. You can love to hate me or hate to love me, but I'm on your brain.
Yeah.
You're thinking about me.
Still on your mind. Yeah, that's right. I know. Let's talk about you're vicious. Let's talk about your heart for a second, because you do a lot, okay? And you're into cutting hair and doing a great job at like crushing it. I've heard your story. Let's talk to the audience a little bit about what you do and what you've done in the past in Florida.
So I had a lot of kid clients. I'm good with kids. I don't know if it's just because there's a lot to look at here and they're enamored enough to sit still for me while I'm cutting their hair. And if they won't sit still, I'm like, hey, do you want a good haircut or do you want a bad haircut? Because the more you move, the worse it's going to get. All right? And I just talk to them like they're, little humans.
Yeah.
I'm not like, okay, Johnny, I need you to be still for me. I'm like, hey, I'm going to fuck your hair up if you don't be still. I don't say fuck to the kids. I try not to.
Yeah.
But I did really well with kids, and a large portion of my clientele were like 12, 13-year-old boys, that wanted that really crispy fade and a little design on the side. So I found that there were a lot of kids that wanted these haircuts and a lot of parents that wanted their kids to have these haircuts. And Facebook was where I focused most of my attention as far as social media back then. And the comments, my little boy sees pictures of your haircuts and, he just wants a haircut from you so bad. I can't afford it right now, but maybe one day. A lot of comments like that. And I was like, all right, it's back to school time. These kids need to have confidence.
Right.
I remember being that poor little kid with fucked up shoes and a fucked up haircut. Yeah. Man, if I can take one thing away from a bully, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I decided to have an event, and I talked to my salon owner. I was like, hey, man, you can do this shit with me if you want to, or you don't have to. I think I did it by myself the first year. I think I did it all by my lonesome. And I think I opened up the salon on a Sunday, which we were usually not open, and I did it on that day so it wouldn't interrupt anybody else's schedule. And I just told Danny, hey, man, I'm doing this shit. And he was like, whatever. And I just cut hair for free for kids all day long. The requirements, you got to be K through 12 enrolled in school. I don't give a shit if it's homeschool. I know they do a lot of stuff like group activities and stuff. So I still want those little kids to, just because you're homeschooled don't mean you don't need a good haircut. And, you know, so it's been like, I think 7 years now I've been doing that. And when COVID happened and I wasn't able to work, fortunately, I was successful enough to where it didn't ruin me. You know, I was still eating. I still had all the things I needed. And because of that, when we were allowed to go back to work, the first thing I did for the community is free haircuts. There's people that needed to go to job interviews. Yeah. There's people that needed to get their shit back together. And if I can do something that doesn't cost me anything, did I lose money that day? I don't know. Would they have been able to afford the haircut anyways? I don't know.
Right.
Who knows? But I know that a lot of people really appreciated that, and the news showed up. The local news station came to cover it, and they were like, why did you choose to do this? You ain't worked in 3 months, and the first thing you do is come back and do free haircuts. I'm like, this don't cost me anything. These people probably wouldn't be able to afford the haircut anyway. It's not like I'm missing anything.
And the other people didn't work for 3 months either.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
So I just want to help people, man. If I can help you in any way, I want to, without taking something away from myself. And that's something I've had to learn to prioritize is me. Because I can't help anybody if I'm fucked up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to look out for number one. That's very important.
It's the old oxygen mask saying, you know, you got to put your oxygen mask on first, because if you pass out, you're not putting anybody else's on.
Exactly.
So that's I love that metaphor, so to speak, and how that works. Mm-hmm. I want to go into just talking about, you know, as we talk about giving back and doing those things, what kind of advice do you want to give to people about mindset? Because yours is, I mean, that's something that I don't know. Like, you have all the tools of an amazing mindset coach. And it didn't take that long for me to even like notice that. What advice do you have for people, or for people in the rut, about their mindset and how to get out of it?
I think that the biggest thing for me, like what hit me the hardest, because we were talking about this last night, like I thought, like, what was it? What was that moment? Like, something snapped.
Yep.
I didn't remember for a second. I was like, the secret. The secret. And I've told so many people that, and I know that sounds so generic, but it's the truth. I've told people, hey, look, go watch The Secret, keep an open mind, and listen to what it's saying. Really listen to what it's saying. You got to accept it. It's your fault. You have to accept that it's your fault where you're at in life. You are 1,000% responsible for it. Oh, well, Jessi, I got in a car wreck and I broke this and this is fucked up and now all these other things have come behind it. Was getting in a car wreck your worst fear before it happened? Because you might have manifested that, dude. Your negative thoughts. Yeah. What if this happens? What if that happens? Stop fucking thinking about that and think about what if something good happens.
Yeah.
You got to change your thoughts, man. I went through a breakup one time. It was a rough one. I wasn't doing good, man. I was just sad. I was like, why don't she love me, dude?
Yeah.
How the fuck did she leave me for this fool?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I changed my playlist. My playlist was sad. It was like, wham, I'm sad. I got broke up with. Wham, sad music. I changed it. And I put it on, I think it was like Pandora or something. I put it on the Happy by Pharrell. Yeah. That's the song, because, you know, you can pick a song and make a station based on the song.
Yeah.
I made a station based on that song. And every single song that made me feel sad at all, I thumbs downed it. By the time I was done, like a weekend to this playlist I created, I think there was like 5, maybe 6 songs that would even play on it, because it's the only thing that was, I wouldn't listen to anything that didn't make me happy.
Yeah.
I wanted to listen to sad music. I wanted to lock myself in my room and close the door, turn the lights off, and drink a bottle of whiskey and listen to something really, really sad. That's what I really wanted to do. That's dramatic. Yeah. That's letting your emotions run you. That's a big thing. Stop letting your emotions run you. They can exist, but they don't need to control you. You don't need to have them at the control panel.
Yeah.
Let them live.
Change your
We're not
playlist.
trying to kill them.
Yeah.
We're not trying to lock them in a box. Let them live, but don't let them sit at the fucking control panel. Why are they driving the plane?
Yeah.
It should be your brain.
Yeah, it
At
should.
the end of the day, it should be logic and reason that runs your fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I need to get out of this mindset. I need to stop being so fucking sad. It's so negative. So I changed that playlist. I had like 5 or 6 songs. Every time I got in the car, I had 5 or 6 songs that would come on. I listened to the same 5 or 6 songs for probably like 2 or 3 months. One day I was driving down the road. I was just laughing. Oh, 'cause I'm happy. And it worked.
Yeah. I do the Carlton to that every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't not. How would you not?
Yeah, exactly.
But you got to force yourself. Even though you want to be sad, don't. You can change it. It hurts.
But it's so simple to even think of like the fact, change the playlist. Realistically, change the playlist. I mean, that's it. There's music that can make you happy. Mm-hmm. Find that out.
Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
What I want you got. You can't hear that song without being happy.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
As it comes on, I'm just cheesing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. I used to do a survivorship. I did 3 survivorship talks or 4 for Cancer Society and motivational talks. And I would tell them based off of that. Just like Peter Pan, when they said, to fly, right, and for the pixie dust to work, and my daughter, we talk about pixie dust, and she makes me fly her all over the house right now because she's just getting into Peter Pan. But find your happy thoughts. Find 3 happy thoughts.
That's it.
Put that in your playlist. Mm-hmm. Every time something slips in that's not necessary, that's not relevant to move you forward in your game, think one of your happy thoughts.
Yeah.
And literally, just like changing your playlist. I love that.
Yeah, it's every thought that you think. All right, so my mom was a preacher. My mom almost died when I was like 6 years old. They were like sure she was dead, like she was on her deathbed. That's a whole new show. That's a whole different show. But basically, a man laid hands on her in a church, and we thought that she was probably going to be in the grave in the next few weeks. But instead, she got up, started running around the church saying she was healed, threw all of her medicine away. She's been healthy as a horse since that day. Crazy story. I witnessed that with my own 2 eyes, and I'm such a logical person that if I can't see, touch, smell, hear, see, if I can't put my hands on it, it's hard for me to believe in it. You know what I'm saying? So I always, at that moment, I was like, I already had questions about God and stuff. When I saw that happen, I was like, fuck. I can't question this shit anymore. I literally just witnessed a fucking miracle. This is crazy. At 6. So that hit me pretty hard. But then I started learning, about how energy and manifestation works, and that's real shit.
Yeah.
That's not fairy tale. That's not, no disrespect to anyone or anyone's religion, but I don't believe, personally for me, in the traditional depiction of, like, God. I don't believe that there's streets of gold. I don't believe that there's a lake of fire. And people ask me, well, if you don't believe in that stuff, what keeps you to be a good person? I'm just not a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. I want to be a good person because I want to be a good person, not because I'm going to be rewarded with streets of gold or because I'm threatened with a lake of fire. Fuck your lake of fire. Fuck your streets of gold. I just want to be good. Yeah. So...
for the sake of being good.
Just simply for the sake of being good. I truly desire to just be good and bring good. That's really what I want more than anything at all. Just to know that I bring a smile to people's faces.
I love that. What else what would you like to share with everybody before we go? Anything that's upcoming, anything that you want to share with them?
We got the rematch probably. If Katie takes it, I'm actually going to suggest that she not. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell her, hey, girl, like, I love you to death, man, but I'm training to take your head off. Yeah. And if you're not going to train like this, you don't need to get in a ring with me because I do care about you.
Yep. And you're ready to bring the noise.
Yeah. But, yeah, that shit's real. Energy is real. Mm-hmm. Energy is real. That shit's real. So every fucking thought you have, people say they can't control their thoughts. Yeah, you can. It's just hard.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to think about what you think about. What are you thinking about? Think about it. Yeah.
Think about it.
Catch it. Yeah.
Super important.
Yeah.
And then when you fuck up and realize how powerful you are, then when you start believing in it, and then it's even more dangerous because you really got to think about what you're thinking about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It gets, and then try to catch yourself and then really like make sure that it's all aligned with the right path and in alignment. How can they get it? How can everybody find you?
Jessi Lawless. If you type my name, Jessi, that's where people go wrong a lot of the times. They try to add an E or a Y. It's just an I, Jessi, Lawless, like the movie, Lawless. That's my real name. Yes, I was born this way.
I love it, we have so many exciting irons in the fire that we've talked about.
So much.
So many future projects. I can't wait to continue to work together.
I'm so excited I met you.
I know. I likewise. I just think that there's so many different valuable tools that you bring that I just want you to know I appreciate it. I appreciate you being on the show. I hope we get your podcast on the television show soon.
I'm ready to get that going for sure.
All right. So thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great to be here, man.
Yep. All right. And one of these times we'll arm wrestle because I don't want to fight you.
Well, I don't want to hurt you.
I appreciate that.
You know.
I figured that was the only thing I could win at. So.
Right. I mean, you see how much bigger I am than you.
Yeah, exactly. Until the next time, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you.